congratulating my fellow Palantir bulls, because I know Palantir is a very popular stock in the retail community. I mean, very popular, almost freakishly popular. And there's a lot of people that, were down big on their shares or were buying last year and whatnot. And it was tough sledding for quite some time. And obviously the stock has come back in a pretty epic way, right? Look at us, for instance, in the public account, we're now up 88% on Palantir shares, now up $42,000 in profit now at this point in time. But it was tough sledding, I know, for a lot of folks, because a lot of folks kind of, found out about Palantir kind of in 2021. So they might have been buying at $20, $18 and things like that, right? And now they've just been kind of like they were just averaging down for like a year and a half pretty much, right? And the stock went all the way down to $6. So it was tough sledding, right? And a lot of people were able to get their cost basis down in the stock to $9, $10, $11, $12, things like that. And so that's awesome. But it was tough sledding, but Palantir is looking like it was, one of those opportunities that was buy the dip and never trip, right? And where what happened here might have ended up being the best gift ever to investors when, everybody disbelieved. And it was a tough stock to obviously be buying at that particular time because there was slowing growth rates. There was a lot of, worries about this and that. And obviously it looks like Palantir has made it through and made it to better days, okay? Now, personally, what do I expect for Palantir stock price kind of moving forward, okay? I will say this, and okay, I guess we'll switch cameras. Okay, we'll be on this camera now. Okay, alrighty, here's a potato for you. All right, we'll just switch cameras randomly. Palantir stock, what I'm expecting is if this company actually comes in and they do really good numbers for this past quarter, but more importantly, they guide for very strong numbers in the back half of this year and going into 2024, right? And if Alex Karp has anything but positive to say about longer term growth rates, I think the stock's on its way to 18 and then probably 20 plus, okay? So that's my personal opinion. Now, if the company comes in and let's say they report really disappointing a quarter for whatever reason, okay? Let's say the numbers aren't there. Let's say they barely beat estimates. We won't even talk about if they miss estimates. That would be a whole disaster. But let's talk about if they barely beat expectations on the revenue side, right? And they don't have any strong guidance or anything like that. Stock will fall right back down to $12 if that was the situation. I'm not expecting that, and I think there's a pretty low probability of that happening, but just to be aware, if that was to happen, let's say they barely beat, because that would lose all momentum if they had no strong guidance, if they had, numbers that just barely beat expectations. People are expecting, growth rates to ramp up pretty considerably in terms of the investor community now at this point in time, right? We're looking at analyst expectations as a lot of retail investors are saying these numbers are far too low. Like companies going to do much better numbers than this. So they got to come through and actually prove it now at this point in time. So, happy for that. A lot of retail folks are obviously starting to make really good amounts of money in Palantir. One stock that breaks my heart though is Meta, right? Meta is a stock that was such easy money last year, and a lot of retail didn't buy the dip on Meta. They didn't even buy Meta, right? And this one breaks my heart. By the way, look at how big the moves are starting to be in terms of Meta, right? A 1% something move now is $7,600 up on the day, right? Just because that position is just building so big now at this point in time, right? But it breaks my heart because I don't think nearly as many, let me know in the comments section if you own Meta. If you own Meta stock in a portfolio, let me know in the comments section. But from what I see, there's just not a big Meta community out there. And it's kind of sad because I'm looking and I'm like, this is one of the easiest money-making stocks in the market, and it just doesn't seem like people are participating. Like, for instance, I did a Meta dedicated video, I think it was last week. Video did horrible. And that just goes to show me, like, a lot of retail folks just aren't interested. So let me know if you own the stock in the comments section. But from what I've seen, it just seems like, unfortunately, a lot of people did not buy that ridiculous dip we had in Meta, even though it was slam dunk easy money. I mean, we're talking about, this is such an easy money stock. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, Oculus. I mean, the metaverse. Now you're talking about Threads. Like, it's the place you got to go if you're going to advertise. They are the creme de la creme. Like, if you're going to advertise as a business, you're going to their platforms before anywhere else. Such an easy money stock, great balance sheet. You got Zuck, it's been kind of frustrating to kind of see like people just not participate in that one and be able to make all this money, but it is what it is. PayPal, I do think there's a lot of people that are buying the dip from the retail community in regards to PayPal, okay? And I think, this is my personal opinion, I'm a believer that PayPal is going to be a great retail investor stock here. I think it's going to make folks a lot of money. Now, for me personally, my biggest worry when it comes to PayPal stock is actually not the stock going down. My biggest worry for PayPal stock is this stock going up and going to 100 plus and it happening very, very soon. Now, where do I think this stock's going after earnings? Okay, if earnings come in, they don't need to beat by a lot. If they just beat a little bit and they have some sort of announcement in terms of, CEO, CFO future there, I think the stock's 85 plus pretty quickly, okay? If they still don't have any update on because they're going to get asked that question. If they don't address it in the press release, believe me, analysts are going to ask them, what is going on with the new CEO search, okay? If they don't have much to add, I think it's going to continue to be an overhang on PayPal stock. I think everybody's looking for like, are we going to get this announcement soon on who's the future CEO and CFO of this company, right? That's what people are really waiting for. It's not even really in the numbers. I think the numbers are going to be just fine, and if anything, exciting. But people need that. So if we can come in through with, just slight beats, never mind if there's big beats, but if we can come in with slight beats, a little positive commentary, and something in relation to who the CEO of this company is going to be in the future, or that the search is, coming, let's call it almost finished up here. Maybe they got it down to 2 candidates or some sort of commentary. I think, 85 plus will happen quickly. Let's talk Tesla, okay? So first thing up here that I thought was really interesting, Tesla's offering to pay people between $18 to $48 an hour to drive its EVs this summer. Look at this. Tesla posts a series of job openings for seasonal test drivers. The company's willing to pay $18 to $48 an hour. That's a pretty wide range, by the way, okay? Tesla uses some of its test data to improve self-driving features. But essentially what's going to happen here is Tesla's going to hire folks to basically for about 3 months, it looks like, drive vehicles around in different situations, okay? And how does the vehicle handle situations and really let the self-driving technology really drive the vehicle rather than the person, right? But you obviously can't have the vehicles drive themselves, so you need humans inside. And so I think this is brilliant. We know Tesla's to that last stage, and we'll see how long this takes them to finish off this last stage. Is it 6 months, 6 years, 3 years, 1 year, 2 years? We'll see. But they're really at that last stage of self-driving, which is, perfecting that last few percent. But that few percent is what makes or breaks the technology. And so I'm looking at this as, I think it's a good decision by Tesla. I think there's certain situations that they want to see handled by this self-driving software. And at the end of the day, you can't I guess you can say employ full time like a fleet of people just trying out these vehicles. In terms of some individuals, some don't like to share the data in relation to their driving habits and the self-driving software and things like that. You get asked if you own a Tesla if you want to share the data. Some people do share the data, some people don't share the data. My personal opinion, if you own a Tesla, I think it's worth sharing the data. I mean, certain things you might not want to share the data about, and that's perfectly fine. But for Tesla, the self-driving software, I think that's something that advances humanity. We know there's a massive amount of people that die each day and every single year in obviously auto accidents. And I think, I think it's a better thing, especially if you got the full FSD, to share that data out there so the vehicles can learn more. And so obviously Tesla can learn a lot more. So that's kind of my opinion.